No, this is not a travel channel, but it's still Rexel's World. Decided to do a little bit of scenery recording while I'm at my staycation here in Singapore. And I wanted to speak a little bit very briefly about pens, and especially pens for travel and the two pens which I've selected for this trip. So, hope everyone's doing good today. And the two pens which I brought along for this trip in this Lahit pouch are actually the 823 and the M800 by Pelican. So the custom 823 by Pilot. And both of these pens are fantastic in their own way. They both have number 6 size nibs. They both have pretty big capacity in terms of the ink that they carry. And the reason why I chose these two pens for this particular trip, where I might not be doing a lot of writing, but I might still be doing a little bit of handwriting practice. The reason why I chose this one, obviously, is because it has the FA nib. So the FA nib would provide kind of some flair when it comes to, you know, writing, more creatively, right? And because you can kind of vary the nib width, and I have the broad nib for the Pelican here, so a little bit more, obviously a thicker line that it places down, and if you wanted to, you could actually do a nice blob of ink down, maybe if you're doing a little bit of drawing and things like that. So I believe these two pens are kind of excellent choices, not just for traveling, but if you wanted to kind of have a pen collection, these two pens would be pretty fantastic. However, today's video is not going to be about a comparison of these two pens, but rather I wanted to speak about something which has been on my mind for a long time. And that's actually, if, you know, I was buying a fountain pen again for the first time, or if I would to recommend someone to buy a fountain pen for the first time, which nib size would I think would be the kind of the sweet spot for someone to buy? And to me, these two pens, like I mentioned earlier on, right, have a nib size roughly that of a number eight, sorry, Jowo nib. So, in the pen industry, people are using terms like number 8, number 5, number 6, and so on. And when they refer to these numbers, they are actually referring to the diameter of the base of the nib. So it's like number 6 nib would be roughly a 6 millimeter feet, rather the base diameter of the nib. However, what I think is probably more important when you're referring to number 6 is actually this dimension down here, the length of the nib from where you're holding the pen all the way to the tip of the pen. And the reason why I think this dimension is very important is because of the way that, if when I hold the fountain pen like so, the nib actually forms an angle with, let's say, assume this is the nib of the fountain pen, and then you have the section down here. This nib forms an angle with paper, obviously. And this angle which is formed, right, is for me, when I'm using a number 6 nib, roughly 45 degrees. I don't need to adjust my angle of holding to be any like very way steeper like this. I know there's some people who like to overwrite. I don't need to do this, and neither do I need. If I had a very huge nib, if I had a number 8 nib, the way that pen would kind of be, or number 9 nib, or anything bigger like a Mont Blanc 149, that nib would kind of be placed on paper in a much, I'm exaggerating here, probably a 35-degree angle, much shallower angle when writing. And problem that would arise in this situation, those of you who've seen my earlier video when I used the 149 and it had problems getting it to work properly, would be that unless the nib was kind of tuned in such a way that in writing in a very shallow angle would work, you would get a bit of a problem, right, when you're writing, perhaps skipping, perhaps scratchiness, and so on. So I feel that for a number 6 nib, right, it's kind of the sweet spot. This is probably 8 or 9. What about number 5, you might ask? I think number 5 nibs are fine. They work well, but the price point, I think, of a number 5 nib to a number 6 nib isn't that great, right? So I mean, if you had a choice between a number 5 and number 6, and you could afford a number 6, a nibbed pen, go for the number 6 is what I would say. And the other problem with a number 8 nib is also related to price, right? So you can get, I think you can get a number 6 steel nib. Not sure whether right, but you can get a number 6 steel nib. Let's say something by Opus 88 or something like that for roughly USD $100. I feel it's pretty achievable, and you can get a number 6 gold nib for roughly maybe USD 200 plus. This custom 823 is going to be around the 200 mark. This Pelican would be slightly more, but I mean, it is slightly more because it's a Pelican. If you get a number 8 size steel nib, I'm going to put the cap away. If you get a number 8 in steel, it's going to cost quite a lot. In fact, that's kind of a rarity when it comes to steel nibs. You can get a Bock number 8. I hardly see a Joe number 8, but those pens would be way in excess of the $100 mark, right? You can also obviously get a number 8 or a number 9 gold nib, like the 149, which I showed in the video a few videos ago, and that one would cost easily like 2 or 3 times more than this $200 mark, right? The retail price of the 149 that I mentioned, that I showed earlier on, was probably about 800 plus US dollar mark, which is like 4 times this amount. So price point wise, number 6 it's not cheap. I mean, I'm not going to say that $100 for a fountain pen is cheap, or $200 for a gold nib. Number 6 nib is cheap, but to me, it's kind of like at the sweet spot, right? So, I'm going to attempt to kind of draw a kind of a chart of, if you were to kind of get if this was price, right, and if this was nib, if you were to have a number 5 nib, I mean, you can always go lower, like a number 4 nib, like the Lamy Safari and all that. But if you just concentrate on the number 5 and number 6 and number 8 plus, right, the price of all this, I believe, will be like there for number, and and the curve would go down here, and then here would be where the number 6 would lie. And I think not much difference. It will definitely be cheaper for number 5, but that's how I think the price would be for number 5 and number 6. So I mean, I spoke a long time about the price, but I feel that's important, and I feel that maybe it's just me, right? But I don't think so, because other people I know with smaller hands than me really find that the number 6 is decently it's very comfortable to use, rather. I have average size hands, and I feel that it's very good writing wise, and price wise, like I mentioned. I'm not going to mention any further, right? I think it's at a sweet spot. So that's my very short video for today, and a little bit different from my usual videos where I do quick looks and reviews. Let me know your comments in terms of what I mentioned today regarding my pens for travel and my nib size recommendations. And if you like this video, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you when I get back to my desk after this trip is over. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. Stay safe. Bye bye.